Hey guys, so today I have kind of a double review. I wanted to do a full review of this guy, and then I've had one of these before and there are hundreds of reviews on these F5.5s out, so I'm gonna kind of keep this short, but I wanted to also do a little bit of one on this. They're both Voxnaes designs. This is the Fox Suru, designed by Voxnaes. 20CV. This one's the bronze titanium. I honestly think it might have been an UrbanEDC exclusive. Not 100% on that. I know it was an exclusive. But overall impressions of this thing, I really like it. I think aesthetically, it looks really clean. You've got kind of this curve on the top here. This kind of like comes right across and then drops down. And it works in the hand. I mean, the ergos are incredible in this thing. The choil's perfect. It's kind of what he's known for, you know, that Voxnaes choil. I think it looks like a premium knife. When you look at this thing, you can kind of tell the ball bearing on the clip, all the hardware is really nice and anodized. Everything's clean. The blade's really nice. I like this satin on the blade. It just gives it a nice, you know, clean look. It's a simple knife, but it's got some elegance to it. It functions really well. And yeah, I've been really enjoying this thing. Knives have been coming in and out. I've been trying to do reviews on everything. But with that being said, it's always been a pleasure to carry this thing. So like I said, let's get into ergonomics. It's great. My hand, it just, you don't even have to think about it. You flip this thing open, you know exactly where to go. I'm not back here. I'm not going to be doing this. I'm up here in the choil every single time. That's how I get 4 fingers on. It feels good in hand. There's no jimping or anything, but the blade stock is so thick that you have a nice purchase on here. Razor sharp. I really enjoy the ergonomics on this thing. The deployment hole is perfect. It's just enough to where you can get kind of that front corner of your finger in there and just fire it every time. So kind of that fidget factor is definitely there on this. I always like multi-deployment methods on a knife. That's something that I have always enjoyed. If I had more options, the better. But I think that this knife without this flipper right here would be money. And it wouldn't be hard to just grind this thing off. I'm sure there are mixed opinions about that. Personally, I think that if you grinded it to where it was, you know, if you look at the design, it hits the stop pin. So you need a bit of this there. And as well, it's part of the choil. But just cutting it right here and kind of rounding it, because when you go to close this thing, it'll drop. Like, it's got great action, but that big ass flipper tab hits your finger every time, which it's not a huge deal. Some of us, I know, you know, some people like that guillotine where it's just gonna drop to your nail every time. You can see I'm all beat up because of it. I do like that. I don't mind this not being drop shut, but at the same time, I could take or leave the flipper. The flipper works well because it's such a big kind of pokey, I don't know, there's no jimping or anything, but the size of it makes it so it works well. And there's a good detent on this as well. You can kind of hear it and you can feel it as well. This is a well-built knife that, you know, I really enjoyed carrying. I had one of the cheaper versions, the aluminum and the N690. I didn't like that one. It had a softer detent and the scales were just a little gimmicky to me. I had the orange version, so it definitely didn't feel premium like this does. I really am a big fan of this. And I think it's a great size too for EDC purposes. For the ergos, the sizes, for the size, the ergos are phenomenal. And that's kind of like, you know, my overview of this. Kind of where I stand with it. I really like it. Is it something that's super special that I love? No. There are things that I would change. This flipper, yes. Also, imagine this is a front flipper, like right here. The blade goes up. Some sort of little, instead of this, it comes up here. Front flipper would be cool. Just saying. I know this is an older model and I doubt they're going to change it, but it'd be cool to see. Either way, really enjoyed this knife. And I've had a lot of, you know, carrying it is fine. This clip is it works. I kind of like how it sits at an angle. It's not just, you know, it's not sitting flat. It kind of sits like this, and I like it because I usually carry my back left pocket. So it kind of just sits down a little bit better, like into the pocket. The ball bearing, I could take it or leave it. I don't really care. It looks, I think it doesn't look weird. It gives it that fancy, elegant feel, you know, gentleman's, whatever. But I don't know. I could take it or leave it. Would I care if there was a deep carry? I mean, I'd prefer it probably, but I don't really care if there's that much of a knife sticking out, you know, that much. It's not a big deal to me. So those are my little nitpicks, but other than that, this is a phenomenal knife. Highly recommend it. I've been eyeing it for years, and I'm glad that I got to handle especially this version of it. Now, the second one I wanted to talk about was the F5.5. This is actually my second F5.5, and this is the UrbanEDC exclusive seigaiha, or however you say it, pattern. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, looking at this thing, I was like, hell yeah, it looks badass in pictures. And in person, it's underwhelming. It really is. I think in Lefty's review, he said that it feels like plastic, it feels cheap, and that is exactly what it feels like. And it sucks because it looks so cool, but the feeling of it, like it's the finish and kind of the way that they did it, I don't know. I thought it was for me, and personally, it is not. It is much heavier. I had the micarta version. I loved the micarta version. I ended up selling it, unfortunately. I regret it, but the thing I do like about it is that I believe they're all liner locks, which I love. I love that this is a liner lock. It just keeps it so it's clean, and honestly, liner locks are just better, in my opinion. The clip is fine. I know a lot of people kind of gripe about it because it just has that steep up, but I don't mind it. It sits deep. It works. I kind of wish, you know, something like this was on that, but again, not a biggie, not a big deal. They kind of both have this lanyard hole, little back spacer type thing. I like it. Looks clean. Again, it's an F5.5, so the ergos are great. Voxnaes did a great job. I love this placing of this jimping. It works amazing. And some people were saying that the action on these was bad. This thing is great, and I haven't even oiled it in like a week, and it is phenomenal. The thing just really drops, especially when I oil it and I'm flipping it for a while, but I've enjoyed it. It's not going to stick around. I don't think either of these are going to stick around, unfortunately. This, I'm kind of torn on. We'll see. That's another thing I wanted to talk about on this that I forgot to. The flipper tab, you can fail it. And the detent, it's kind of a light switch. You know, it's not really you can push button it and it works. But I light switch it, and it fires every time. So you do have to kind of think about it on this, the detent on this. But if it didn't have that flipper tab, this is dialed. I cannot fail that. And it's the same on this. I cannot fail this. You know, so both of these are really dialed as far as the detent goes. I could highly recommend either of these knives. I will say that this is not my favorite variation of this. However, this is my favorite variation of this. So there's a little quick double review for you guys. Thanks for sticking around, and I will see you in the next one.